because these words carry freedom and power. The pride of those who have tried to harm you is collapsing under its own weight. Their so-called wisdom is being revealed for what it truly is: foolishness. What was meant to break you will no longer touch you. Every weapon raised against you will fail. Every insult, every false word, every attempt to stain your name cannot hold power over you anymore. Through the blood of the Lamb and the strength of your testimony, you have already overcome the accuser. You are not a victim of your past. You are a victor walking into your future. So choose victory over victimhood, praise over bitterness, and faith over fear. Every time you do, you tear down the enemy's throne piece by piece. Listen carefully, because this isn't just another message. It's a spiritual awakening wrapped in words, the kind that shakes your bones and reminds your soul of what it already knows, that you were never meant to live bowed down to the weight of other people's lies. The world tried to define you. They said you'd never rise again after what happened. They whispered that your story was over. But what they didn't understand is that your breaking point was actually your becoming point. The storm that tried to bury you was the very soil where God planted your roots deeper. You weren't being destroyed. You were being rebuilt. Every scar, every betrayal, every sleepless night. It wasn't wasted. It was preparation. It was heaven's way of forging something indestructible inside of you, because gold doesn't come from comfort. It comes from fire, and you, my friend, have walked through enough flames to glow on your own now. You're not fragile anymore. You've been through too much to be broken by simple words. You've outgrown the cage that others tried to keep you in, and now your silence has become louder than their slander ever could be. You see, there comes a point when pain becomes a teacher, when betrayal stops being a curse and becomes a revelation, when the rejection that once stung your heart starts to make sense. God allowed them to walk away because they couldn't walk with where you're going. He let them misunderstand you so you'd stop trying to be understood by people who were never meant to see your truth. They had to turn their backs so you could finally face forward. The ones who laughed when you fell will soon watch you rise higher than their pride can handle, and they'll realize it was never you who was beneath them. It was their arrogance that blinded them. The same mouths that mocked your faith will whisper your name in disbelief when your blessings start to overflow. Because when God restores, He doesn't do it halfway. He does it in a way that silences every tongue that ever spoke against you. So if you're listening to this right now, understand something. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Every delay has a design. Every heartbreak had a hidden message. Every door that shut in your face was God redirecting your path toward something bigger, something only you could carry after being refined in that fire. Don't curse the season that shaped you. Don't resent the pain that woke you up. Don't wish away the waiting. It's in the waiting that your wings are built, because strength doesn't come when everything's easy. It comes when everything hurts, and you still refuse to quit. They tried to bury you under lies, but they didn't realize you were a seed. You were meant to grow in silence, in darkness, in the soil where no one believed in you. They thought they ended you, but God whispered, "Watch what I do next." And slowly, quietly, you began to rise, not in noise, not in vengeance, but in power. Because real power doesn't announce itself, it just transforms. That's why you don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. You don't have to fight for validation. You don't have to explain your process to people who were never part of your promise. They'll see it soon enough. The glow that can't be hidden. The peace that doesn't make sense. The strength that wasn't there before. That's the light of someone who's been through hell and came out carrying heaven in their heart. So now, every time the enemy tries to remind you of who you were, remind him of who you've become. You're not the same person who cried themselves to sleep over opinions. You're not the same soul who begged for people to stay. You've learned that sometimes the ones who leave are the ones who make space for better blessings to arrive. Don't chase what God has released. Don't mourn what was never meant to remain. Your healing doesn't come from going back. It comes from moving forward. Because you can't rebuild your future with the bricks of your past. You can't fly while holding hands with your former chains. You've got to let it go. The guilt, the blame, the bitterness, the self-doubt. Let it fall away piece by piece until you can finally breathe again. Because peace is the reward for those who refuse to keep carrying what was never theirs to bear. Now hear me, because this part matters. The people who once wounded you, they're being exposed, not by your hands, but by the natural weight of their own deceit. Lies don't last forever. Eventually, truth becomes too heavy to hide. The same ones who threw dirt on your name are now tripping over the seeds they planted. And while they're still gossiping about who you were, God is busy elevating who you've become. Their weapons didn't work. Their rumors didn't stick. Their curses couldn't touch you, because when grace covers you, no darkness can uncover you. So keep walking, head high, heart humble. Not because you have to prove your worth, but because you've already found it. You don't need revenge. You need release. You don't need applause. You need alignment. You don't need them to understand. You just need to keep moving. Because your peace is louder than their opinions. Your purpose is bigger than their pride. Every step you take forward is a declaration that their control is broken. Every breath you take in faith is a weapon against fear. Every time you choose forgiveness, you defeat the enemy's plan. Forgiveness isn't saying they were right. It's saying they no longer have power over your spirit. You see, when you refuse to let bitterness build a home in your heart, you start living differently. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop seeking closure. You start creating clarity. You begin to realize the battle was never about people. It was about peace. It was about the war between who you were and who you're becoming. And you, my friend, are winning that war. One decision at a time. You've chosen not to let the past poison your present. You've chosen not to let pain define your perspective. You've chosen not to let fear dictate your faith. And that's what real victory looks like. Not loud, not flashy, but quiet, steady, unshakable. Some people only saw your weakness, but God saw your warrior spirit. They saw failure. He saw foundation. They saw endings. He saw beginnings. You are living proof that divine reversals are real. That no matter how dark the night gets, dawn is not optional. It's inevitable. So when it feels like life's weight is too heavy, remember this. You've carried worse and still made it. You've bled, cried, stumbled, and still rose. That's not luck. That's resilience wrapped in grace. That's destiny refusing to be delayed. And right now, heaven is still writing your story. Not with ink, but with intention. Not in haste, but in holiness. You are being prepared for rooms your pain qualified you for tables where your humility will speak louder than your titles, for seasons where the same people who underestimated you will need your guidance to find their way. Because that's how God works. He turns the overlooked into the overcomers. Don't shrink when favor finds you. Don't apologize for healing faster than they expected. Don't dim your light to make broken people comfortable. You paid for that glow with tears. You earned that peace with pain. You built that confidence with courage that no one else saw. You are not arrogant for standing tall. You are obedient for walking in your purpose. So tonight, rest, not in fear, but in faith. Because you are no longer the hunted, you are the chosen. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Not in this season, not in the next, not ever. Because your armor isn't made of pride, it's made of prayer. And your foundation isn't built on approval, but on truth. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them judge. Because while they're busy watching, you'll be busy winning. Every word they spoke to break you will now become the sound of their own conviction. Every plan they made against you will crumble under divine timing. And every tear you once cried will water the harvest that's now growing in your favor. This is your turning point. This is the moment the ashes start to shift. This is where the old story ends, and the new one begins. Because the same hands that were wounded are now the ones that will heal. The same heart that was broken is now the one that will love freely again. The same voice that once trembled in pain will now speak life into others. You're not who you were, and you'll never go back. Because freedom doesn't revisit its chains. So walk forward, with faith that doesn't flinch, with love that doesn't run, with peace that doesn't depend on people. And every time the enemy whispers, "You can't," smile, because he's only afraid of the fact that you already did. Because these words, your prayers, your truth, they still carry freedom and power. The pride of those who tried to harm you, It's collapsing under its own weight. Their so-called wisdom, exposed as foolishness. What was meant to break you can no longer touch you. Every weapon raised against you will fail. Every insult, every false word, every attempt to stain your name, powerless. Through the blood of the Lamb and the strength of your testimony, you have already overcome. You are not a victim of your past. You are a victor walking boldly into your future. So choose victory over victimhood. Choose praise over bitterness. Choose faith over fear. And every single time you do, you tear down the enemy's throne, piece by piece.